really line up with each other. It just kind of run off. Back stitch. We had something similar on our front pockets. Remember the hip pockets on the pants where, you know, we just sort of ran off. Okay, this, the 1/4 inch, it can be the outside of your foot, or you can look at the first line. What, it's not the, you know, it's not like, as long as you come close to the measurement, it's okay. All right. Okay. Now, in order for things to lay down right, this is an important little detail that you should listen to. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. A lot of you like to, when you trim or clip, you like to trim and you go real close, like that's going to solve the problem. You never trim unless there is something called for. Basically, when you trim, you should never trim more than leave a 1/4, because you still have to deal with the fact that things have to lay flat. If you're going to go too close, you're going to have the seam stick up and it becomes an ugly little edge. And you get more bulk than what you wanted. So in here, because it's folded, you have to grate the corner, trim it. Now in here, because we're going to turn it and there is no seam here, you're going to clip where the seam is. And if you want to, you can grate that, and we'll grate that. And now follow me. We're going to press this whole thing. I'll show you how to press it. I have a sore throat, so you gotta be nice to me tonight. Because I'm not feeling that well, but you're always nice to me. So. All right. Okay. Now we got the little. Oh, Nina. Some of the students are interested in buying these. They can get in touch with you, right? What does your husband charge?
$25.
$25. This is a must.
Handmade, yeah.
Okay, now I take the little tailor board and I'm going to press this open. Oh, Danielle, you want to go in my box and get my turner? This is a real privilege. He can go in my box. You know that bamboo thing that's for turning? A turner. That's it. Okay, both of these seams are pressed open. And thank you. And then also, where is that little, the sleeve board? This is another must. These are things that you want to write on your birthday list and on your Christmas list. Yeah. That's how you get your stuff, because that's what I did. And my family was grateful because they didn't have to think about what am I going to get my mother or my wife or whatever. So this way you just tell them, and then soon enough you have a hem, you have a sleeve roll, you know. Okay, now I'm going to press the, now this one is slightly curved, but actually it comes out better. Don't stretch it if you work it flat. It gives it a better, because we don't want it to bulge. We want it to, at least I had this, you know, my teacher in Germany, she was a handful. You think I am? Okay.
Look what you learned.
But she was a good teacher, and she said that sometimes when you have curves, you're better off working flat. Just like with your darts, it comes out better because you don't get this thing to come out. You want to keep it so that it can adjust to your body, but not, you know, to the ham. Okay, so we got this open. I feel like a cook. You know. Okay, here we got these open. Now I'm going to turn them inward. And again, when you do corners, what do we don't do?
Don't stab.
Don't jam in there. You just always want to come from the direction of the seams and work slow until you get where you want to go. So see, I'm coming from this end, and see, because you want to be careful when things just poke out. And in here, this one is pretty much going to take care of itself as soon as we press it. Now see, this is going to be very easy. See this one over here? Oh, go get me my roller for a second. I lost my snip. Okay, thank you. You're going to fold the hem on the side. What was the hem? Who remembers?
1.5 inches.
1.5 inches, right. So if you bring it in on the side seam here at 1.5 inches, it pays off to have your notches, right? Because then you don't have to do what I'm doing right now. And basically, you're just going to work this right in here, because this part here is 1.5 inches. So you actually have a perfect mitered corner. And when you do your skill book, I want you to use this part of your pattern for your skill, because it's so easy. It's already all there. Just copy the one side and do your corner. Okay, now this side, again, okay, here we got one. So we'll line this up, line this up. Now we'll see this is clipped so it can fall right flat with the other part. Now, what did you notice? I could have went a different way. I could have sewed all these seams and then try to work the hem. You see, that would have been much harder. But if you work it flat like this, you're ahead of the game. So now you know that this lines up good. You know, you go right there by your, how the seam falls. Now I'm going to turn it around, and you know, I just followed that little, this little bit, make sure it lines up on top of each other, and then the placket goes right into the seam. See? There it is. See? This is all done. So now then later, we just place our buttons, okay? So now, to finish, all we're going to do is, since we already determined where the hem is, now, just because I press this up doesn't mean that you're going to take it and sew across, because what would happen? You cannot have a unfinished seam in here, because your lining only comes to here. So what we're going to do is we'll just fold this back, open it back up, and now I'm going to pin this, and I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch on this side. Can you bring my pointer, please? Thank you. So we go back here. So what you see? We opened it up, right? We folded it back because, and this is going to be so easy. This is, now, if you want to do a smart thing for tonight, I want you to drop everything and do this real quick. Because this will take you probably less than an hour, and you can have it out of the way, and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, this is a 1/2 inch, all right? Now, when you grow up, you can do what I'm doing. You can use less pins and work your way through this a little quicker. Again, 2.5 stitch, back stitch in the beginning and the end. You see what you do is you line up your, where the notches are, line it up, and then just run the okay. And then you go to the bottom, fold this, make sure this lines up. Now, if you have any questions, let me know, because I'll keep running my mouth. Daniel, he's laughing. Like he said, yeah, I know. Back stitch. Okay, like that. All right. Okay. You get some exercise. All right, what do we do before we're going to go any further? What do I do?
Press it.
Grate your seams.
Grate it.
You don't even know what this will do to the, if you keep doing these little things, it's the outcome is so much better. And so now before I press it open, I'll press it what? Flat. You gotta melt the seam flat first. Okay, follow me. Melting is, I don't know who invented that. I'm just passing it on. I read it somewhere. The thing is, if you want to have a really nice flat seam, you want to get the bubbles out of the seam first, so you can set yourself up to get a nice flat. Somebody's scissors? May I have somebody's scissors that are close by? Okay, because of the curve, you want to make this, you can, if you want, you can bring it over a little too, and clip it so that you can press it easier. Use your, because it's a circle now, you need to use a sleeve board. So you can tell that you need these things. If you really want to become professional, you need the tools to, these things are not that, I think a sleeve board is probably around what? You can buy them fairly cheap.
I don't know. I checked from Father. I think he's got those.
But it saves you. You see now, I don't press any kind of wrinkles, I don't press any kind of folds, because it's so small. If you wanted to do it without this, it's almost impossible. Okay, so now I just go back and fold this little area down here that we already pressed once before. I just bring it back in, and you can measure it if you want. I'm just going to kind of let it fall by itself. Okay, now we're going to turn it. The thing is, if you can at all, there are places, I think, what is it, Brothers up on North, Hoffman Brothers, they sell those Teflon. You know, you can get different sizes for
covers?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or because it's so much easier than, because if you do this at home, because I always like to touch up a little bit from the right side to make it more flat. You see, it just makes the seam more flat. And okay, now in here, this part, right, you fold it back and you're going to blind stitch the hem, okay? blind stitch. Okay, that's the end of the placard. Okay.
That's
Got
it?
the lesson?